Todd Losié is the principal of Foreign Language Immersion Cultural Studies School, and thank you for coming up with the acronym FLICS. Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you with us. And thank you for allowing me to do the rest of the interview in English. Also with us is a parent who has 2 children who are currently in the program and have enjoyed its benefits. Rosiland Haskins is with us. Hello, Rosiland.
Yep, good morning.
Say that again.
Good morning.
There we are. Thank you for coming down, both of you, for and getting some information out about language. I had such a problem with language in school, but this is an immersion program, Todd. Explain what that means. Are you going to grab my ankles and dip me in French?
Not anymore. What the foreign language immersion program that we have is a partial immersion program where students are immersed in the culture, the language, the class culture is in the language, and the students have the opportunity to have a continuous flow of instruction in that language from K through 8 at our building, and then continuing on into high school. So we focus on the continuity of the language instruction.
From kindergarten?
From kindergarten.
And does that mean, forgive my ignorance, does that mean that the regular classes are conducted in a language?
As much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we also have to teach English language arts. That's something we can't really do that too well in Chinese. But the class culture is in the, students will line up, they will follow commands, they will partake in the class culture, but also be immersed in the typical beginning stages of language acquisition and in kindergarten and lower levels, and that continues on up.
I think that's a great idea. I think part of my problem with language was they didn't really get serious about it until high school. Mm-hmm. And the idea of getting young children familiar with the language when their minds are much more supple is
correct.
Is that not true?
That's true, and that's exactly what you just said. The students, the child's mind when they're young is a sponge. It takes it all in. Especially language for language acquisition. So students, the studies don't necessarily know why, but they know that prior to adolescence, a student that acquires a second language does not have an American accent.
Really?
So they don't necessarily. So that's why it's crucial that our students not only learn a language for their own benefit later on in life, but also for the linguistic benefits, since they will not necessarily have an American accent when they're speaking their language. We've had testament of that from native Chinese speakers and Spanish speakers.
Very interesting. Rosiland, as a parent with 2 children, do you speak any of these languages?
Minimal, unfortunately. I try to learn as much as possible to help them advance in the language, but my Japanese is I can say a few things in Japanese, French, and in Spanish, and a few less in Chinese. So.
Well, Dylan and Donovan are here, and do you kids speak to each other in Japanese when you don't want your mom to know what you're talking about?
Not really.
Not really, because that's something my parents did with me all the time. They spoke Polish to each other. What have you found, Rosiland, as a parent, that in your children that this language program has helped foster? How are they different with it than they would have been without it?
I think they're more marketable. The world opens to them because they're learning second language. If, say, for instance, my youngest one, Dylan, she wants to be a veterinarian, and she could take that over to Japan if she needs to, and she could get a job in Japan and raise a family, or say, for instance, be a part of a group, and she could translate. But it opens the world up to them.
Yeah.
It doesn't just pigeonhole them.
My guests are Todd Losié, who's the principal of the FLICS program, the Foreign Language Immersion Cultural Studies School, at a it's K-12, isn't it? A K-12 program?
FLICS is a K-8 academic building program, but it's really a K-12 language program. So students they start their language studies as early as kindergarten all the way through 8th grade in our facility, but they have the opportunity to continue at their own individual language proficiency levels through 12th grade and then on to college.
And you teach other courses at FLICS?
Yes, we teach the core content, you know, math, social science, social studies, etc., but also French language, French, Spanish, Chinese, or Japanese, and then the students continue that all the way through.
I think it's a great idea, and you can find out more information in two ways. You can make a call to 313-240-4DPS. That's 313-240-4DPS. Or you can go online to DetroitK12.org. I want to thank you both for coming down here. I was going to ask your youngsters to do simultaneous translation in Japanese. Are you up for that? No, maybe not. But keep working at it. I envy you, your ability to be multilingual, because every day here we find words from various languages that we try to figure out. In fact, I think I got a couple right now. Once again, it was Todd Losié, the principal of the FLICS program and the FLICS school. Thank you so much for coming. And Rosiland Haskins, thank you. And
C'est mon plaisir.